I don't know what it is about this chapter, but it felt like it should have been part of the last chapter. I don't really know what it is. I feel like it's just because a lot of stuff kind of like there was a lot of action going on, and we got mostly like explanations on the dude that hangs out with Hakari, this dude Kirara. It's apparently the guy, but he's got like a curse technique similar to that of Satoru. I'm guessing instead of it being like full spatial, like kind of like manipulation, it's more of like a repel technique sort of thing. Kind of like close to something like how Pain had the Almighty Push. Something kind of like that. It might be some form of spatial manipulation, but I'm going to at least assume it has something to do with attraction and repelling, because there's a part where after Megumi's totality dog gets sent back to him, it's like stuck to him. So I'm guessing this guy has like some form of magnetism, they say, because at the very beginning of the chapter, when it's like being explained of like what Panda has experienced through this dude's abilities, is that no matter how much he tries to approach the door, there's like a set spot where it just doesn't seem like he's ever making progress. My guess, just like thinking about it, because again, just the whole nature of repelling and then later making Megumi's dog seemingly just like stuck to him, is that it's kind of like how if you take two magnets and you have the same sides and you put them to each other, you can take a magnet and push it up to the other one, and obviously being the exact same size, not the opposites, because opposites attract with magnets and stuff. Is that you have like two negatives, and then you push up to it, it will move the other one back without having to touch it, because the magnets are just pushing it. That's my guess at least. It could be something more simple than that. It could be something way more complicated than that. There was like a small moment in the chapter that kind of gave a little bit more a hint towards it. Let me just pull up. There was like a part with Panda and Megumi's Shikigami dog, where there's like a marker above their heads. There's some form of little thing. I'm guessing it's probably got to do with the power. Maybe it'll have some form of explanation next chapter. My guess is still repelling in fact, like magnetism. Because it's like, it's an easy thing to have make sense to this, but Megumi does a lot of really cool stuff in the chapter. Like, we don't even really see Yuji. It just shows like them kind of like talking about Hakari, the current situation. And if like this is what Kirara's abilities are, I wonder what Hakari's like curse technique is supposed to be, because like Hakari's been hyped up, and I forgot about the early hype in the series about Hakari's like potential, kind of like how like Yuta and Todo are. But it was like in the previous chapter, Yuta's saying that like, oh, in the series he's stronger than me. I still think that's just exaggeration, because Yuta's like super humble. He's not somebody who seems to flex how strong he is. But going over it, like just seeing like them kind of like fighting and seeing some of the moves, when they're like talking about like, oh well, usually they might send like a bruiser out to fight Yuji, I was thinking like, so Hakari being like strong enough to beat Yuji, I could see, just based off of hype. And we know that Yuji's not at that point where it's like when the main character passes like a threshold where it's like, yeah, I'm no longer the green horn or whatever. I am at my peak, or at least I'm at a level that dwarfs a majority of characters. So like, if this was Yuji at like post like learning how to control Sukuna's powers, maybe Goku like gives the main expansion or something, has like crazy regen, something like that, I could see that Yuji being like, yeah, he's just gonna no-form this guy. But it doesn't seem to be the case so far. We haven't seen Yuji's the full extent of his current abilities. As far as I know, like he's just more skilled than he was prior. I haven't seen anything that would indicate like he's leagues and above where he was at. So I'll have to wait and see just like what he's like moreover capable at. But right now, with that setup, I was just like, a random thug, like he should be able just to mop, no problem whatsoever. Like that guy's a nobody. Like they just want bringing some random goon with like a freaking pompadour. Yeah, Yuji's gonna completely just body him. But the Kirara guy, I thought was actually this. Looking at it, I didn't notice in the chapter until rereading it that the guy that we see in the little demonstration when they're saying like, oh, if we mess up, Hakari might toss Yuji out or call in some bruiser. I didn't notice the little cartoon version of the bruiser is actually one of the characters we see a couple pages later standing in front of the door. I didn't notice that at all. But when we get to that, like, we have Kirara go out, and that's when Yuji goes inside with Hakari, and Megumi just starts, like, taking out all these fodder dudes, just completely wrecking them. There was a point where he puts, like, a zip tie on their thumbs. I get, like, why he would do something to restrain them, but I feel like any of these guys should be physically strong enough to break zip ties. I don't know. I guess maybe if they're just kind of grown adults, they don't have powers or anything kind of interesting about them, they're just big dudes, then sure. But I don't know, I feel like that, like, these dudes should be capable enough at least to do that. Otherwise, these are literally just henchmen. These guys are fodder. Like, you can have henchmen still be pretty capable. Like, Kirara is, I wouldn't call him, like, a henchman, but he is a minion of Hakari. And, like, this guy's got a really good power, clearly. He's clearly strong. I don't think that he would, like, constitute the same as, like, a boss character. Like, clearly Hakari's, like, a boss fight character if, like, they were going to go up against him. Kirara just seems to be somebody who is capable, but has a really tricky and, like, complicated power. But isn't as, like, unbeatable as someone like Hakari. Not, like, unbeatable, but, like, a massive obstacle that would be, like feel near unbeatable, like, going up against them. There was a point, like, I was very confused with the panda, like, having the star that says Imai on his, like, his butt. I don't really know what that references to. I don't know if I'm forgetting something. Like I said, I need to reread Jujutsu Kaisen at some point soon. Like, probably before the Koning game starts, I'll reread through it, because I just want to refresh on some things. Like, Hakari was a good example. Like, I didn't remember him when he was, like they started talking about him again, and they only mentioned him, like, really early. Usually, like, I'm really good at that, because I remembered, like, Kamo Noritoshi, when he was mentioned, I was like, okay, bookmark this guy's name. I think it was just because, like, Hakari was more of, like, yeah, this guy's just, like, a talented dude somewhere, where in my head, when I like, always cement, like, okay, this name drop was for a reason, when it's, like, some really important character in the lore. Like, someone like, oh, yeah, he lived hundreds of years ago and was, like, some legendary character. It's like, okay, that guy is mentioned for a reason. Just keep an eye on it. But, yeah, I definitely got to reread it at some point soon. But it was a pretty fast-read chapter. It's, like, really all we got from Hakari was, like, Hakari saying, like, oh, how would you like to make 1 million yen in a month? Oh, wait, so you could work 1 hour a day and make 1 million a month. So pretty much be a fighter. And that's like $10,000, I think, like in US dollars. So still really good, obviously, like a month just working for an hour. The only thing I'm very curious about is, like, with the reveal of that dude Kirara being a guy. And there was, like, a moment at the end of the chapter, of the previous chapter, when he was, like, mentioning something about an ex-girlfriend, and, like, Kirara got mad. So is, like, is Kirara and Hakari in a relationship? I don't really mind, I'm just curious. Because then I'll be really surprised if Akutami decides to go with that. Just because it was definitely an out of left field thing I would have guessed for this dude. But I mean, if he's gay, whatever, who cares? I would say that right now, I want to know what this guy can do that makes him so hype. Because, like, right now, like, the Kirara guy seems way cooler. Like, his powers just seem way more busted. And it seems like he's way more capable. Like, it doesn't seem like he's, like, a fighter, but just that part when the whole totality dog was able to damage Hanami, so clearly it would be able to damage, like, it's a very powerful Shikigami, and then you have Kirara just, like, as it's coming in, just put up hands and then throw it right back. So clearly, like, this dude's got a lot of hype potential as well. Anyway, other than that, though, comment below, thumbs up the video, but friend, like, button, subscribe button, and check out my videos. So, other than that, if the channel is subscribed, I think y'all